Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bit of an odd discussion trying to find which tool is better for sketching, the pen or the pencil. That's going to be a duel because I feel like everybody has different takes on this, and it's basically just down to preference and situation, I feel like. So to find out, in this video we're first going to define a little bit the tools better, what they're good for, the pros and cons. And second, we're just going to talk about the different use cases and what I mean by sketches, the different types of sketches basically. You ready? Let's do it. First off, the pencil. It's probably the most versatile tool in an artist's arsenal. You can have a lot of different line qualities depending on the angle you have it connect with the paper. You can fill up some areas, be very light or very dark, and just overall keep yourself nice and loose. You can get some pretty different effects, and some actually nice finished results all on its own when you actually get good at it. It's surprising how a simple pencil can get such a wide variety of nice stuff. You can start very light and loose with bold strokes and then render it with more fine, precise things to get a nice result. It's definitely the most basic and versatile tool you have in your arsenal. However, the cons are that it does smudge around all over the place when your hand gets on top of it. It's a bit annoying and kind of dirty. You can get a bit of a muddy effect on your sketchbook, which is not always what you want. The erasing process, while it's definitely a pro that you can erase, is also kind of disgusting. You get eraser pieces everywhere. It's a bit annoying. And you also need to sharpen your pencil. Pens are cool. Let's just set it straight. Here I have ballpoint pens and also microns. They have a very, very satisfying feel to them, especially microns in my opinion. They're not erasable, obviously, they're pens, but it also teaches you to be less perfectionist with your sketching. In my opinion, is the whole point of sketching. Don't try to make something perfect, just try to make something. There are some of these pretty much everywhere, and they're, for the most part, really cheap ballpoint pens you can get pretty much everywhere. And it's definitely a nice pro. There are also a couple of different colors if you like, just if you want to sketch in a different color, you can do it. And the biggest pro, in my opinion, is that it is very clean. It doesn't smudge around everywhere, which is definitely a very nice thing. Unless you have something that takes quite a lot of time to dry and you're very quick with your hand. But I find that usually, especially with ballpoint pens, you just won't smudge it around everywhere. And the con is still you can't erase. Ink is permanent, which can definitely be a con in some situations. The first type of sketching you're going to do is obviously your development sketches. These are made to prepare for a project. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to be good, it just has to get stuff out of your head and onto the paper to make your ideas a lot more clear and to clarify exactly what you want with the final product. You can use it for a character, a pose, a layout, or really whatever element you want. Personally, for this type of stuff, I prefer my good old pencil, simply because of the bold strokes you can get and the variety of lines you can have. The very bold strokes you're able to get and the very light stuff you can do keeps me loose and not thinking too much about detail and more about the overall things that I want. It helps me translate what I have in mind on the paper way more effectively. Plus, it's pretty fast to block out the basic shapes when you're working on a layout, which is definitely a big pro. So for me, development sketches, I'm doing them with a pencil. Even though they sometimes get quite muddy, it doesn't really matter because it's just a development sketch. It doesn't even have to be good. Second off, your practice sketches. These are probably the type you're gonna do the most, because these are very quick sketches you can knock out a lot of in a small amount of time to get some practice in your basics, like anatomy or perspective, for example. These are vital to your progress. The point here is repetition. You need to do a lot of them in a quick succession simply to get in your mind all of the knowledge you can of the specific situations you encounter when you just try to sketch some basic stuff and also build up some muscle memory. Recently, I actually switched to doing them with a pen for a couple of different reasons. Before, I did them with a pencil, just sort of not thinking about it, just like sketching, yeah, I gotta use a pencil, but it's actually a little bit more complex than that. The pens have a lot of pros for this. First off, they're clean, and it's always nice to have a clean sketchbook. And in my opinion, the best pro is that it's not erasable. Yeah, it might not sound very intuitive to classify this as a pro, but it teaches you to learn from your mistakes more effectively. If you fuck up once, you don't just erase and do it again. No. The point is not to try to do something perfect. You just try again on the side and learn from your mistake very effectively. I think that's the best way to practice. So yeah, for me, practice sketches, I'm doing them with a pen. The third type, and probably the most obvious one, is final sketches. This is the final sketch you're gonna lay down before rendering an illustration, or a comic book page, or whatever really. Just the stuff you lay down before rendering a finished product. Obviously, this won't stay, so you're gonna want to use a pencil for that. This is probably the most intuitive one, because they're erasable. Yeah, let's just move on. And the final, fourth sketching type is simply just have fun. Drawing is all about, in my opinion, making progress and enjoying the process. You really need to have some degree of just careless fun in your artistic journey. It's a big part of being an artist. Just have fun drawing stuff you like and you think it's pretty funny for some reason. Sketching some stupid stuff after a stressful day is definitely a nice way to handle the stress needed to achieve what you want. If you come back from the gym or something, you're very tired, just lower your expectations, take a pen and sketch some stupid bullshit in your sketchbook. It's gonna be very fun. So for me, like I just said, the fun sketches that I now do with a pen, because like the practice sketches, I like keeping them clean. And on top of that, it doesn't have to be perfect, so I don't need to have to erase it. I just basically render at the same time as the sketch, because it's just supposed to be funny and stupid, and the pen allows me to do that very fast and very cleanly, and have a couple of different funny effects. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. If I just want to have fun and sketch like a stupid penguin or something, I'm taking a ballpoint pen and doing it. Okay, well that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching up until this point. It is very much appreciated. So what we learned is basically it's down to preference and situation. You can basically use whatever you feel comfortable with. Share in the comments below what you like to use for sketching and what do you sketch for. It's going to be a very interesting discussion to have because I have the advantage of having a fairly small channel, so I can actually respond to all the comments. Take advantage of this before I get a quadrillion subs, I guess. Anyways, thanks very much for watching once again, and have a pleasant rest of your day. Peace.